According to Oscar's statement, he had come home and Riva was already there preparing dinner. Oscar goes upstairs and places his gun under this side of the bed.
So he takes a gun with him wherever he goes?
He does, yeah. He's very conscious with regard to his safety. They sat down and they had dinner for approximately an hour.
Pistorius says that at about 7 p.m. they both had dinner. A police examination of Oscar's iPad shows that at about 9:19 p.m. someone was using it to watch porn. Oscar says that Riva did her yoga exercises at the end of the bed and that at about 10 p.m. they both went to sleep.
But the prosecution says Riva's autopsy showed she must have eaten much later than 10 o'clock, possibly 1 a.m., which raises doubt about Oscar's story.
There's no dispute, though, it was a hot night. Pistorius says that these balcony doors were open and these two fans were in the doorway, blowing cold air into the room. Oscar says he's a light sleeper and he woke up at about 2 in the morning.
But Ross, a neighbour living opposite, says that just around that time she heard two people arguing loudly, a man and a woman.
Well, Oscar's version is there was no argument. He says he simply took the fans inside, closed the balcony doors, pulled the curtains, and that he did all of this on his stumps.
And as you can hear, the fans are quite loud. And when I was doing the reconstruction at the scene, I had both of these exact fans. It's quite loud and quite distracting. So at this particular time, either while he was repositioning the fans or while he was closing the sliding glass doors, Riva gets up to go to the toilet.
And crucially, Oscar says he didn't hear her getting up.
Right.
But just how credible is it that Oscar didn't hear Riva get up off the bed and go to the bathroom?
Well, it's absolutely critical to his defence, because if the judge finds otherwise, if she believes that Oscar was aware that Riva got up from the bed and went to the bathroom, then he's guilty of murder. What Oscar says happened is that after he closed the curtains, the room was dark, except for this LED light on his stereo, which he then covered with a pair of Riva's jeans.
And he covers that LED light on the stereo, and then that's when he hears something.
What does he hear?
He hears a loud screech and a bang.
And what did Oscar tell you that he thought at that moment?
At that moment, he immediately thought that there was an intruder coming into his house through the bathroom window.
Where is Riva at this stage?
Riva's in the toilet.
Scott Roeder believes the noise was Riva opening the bathroom window, and that's what Oscar hears.
Okay, so this is the bathroom, the window, and there's the toilet door.
And back here in the bedroom, Oscar Pistorius is scared. He's terrified there's an intruder coming in through the bathroom window. He thinks Riva's still here in the bed. So he says he leans down beside the bed and grabs his loaded pistol.
I stood there for some time. Not sure how long. I wasn't sure if somebody was going to come out of the toilet to attack me.
Why would you think that?
Well, there was construction being done on his house. There were large ladders right beneath the bathroom window that were certainly long enough to reach that bathroom window. You can see that this is somebody who's at a tremendous disadvantage. He's got bad balance when he's on his stumps. He could be easily overcome at that particular point.
What should we be listening for that you believe prompted him to fire?
There is a magazine rack that's inside the toilet chamber. It's a ceramic floor, so as it's being moved just a matter of a foot, it makes a screeching noise.
And so Riva's in the toilet, Oscar's yelling, thinking that Riva's in the bedroom.
Right.
What do you think Riva's thinking at this stage?
Well, I think that's an important issue in the case, and I think it's reasonable to believe that, you know, as Oscar's moving toward this perceived threat, she's locking herself in the toilet thinking the threat is moving toward her. Oscar's coming closer, and his voice is getting louder and more aggressive. So she believes, I would think, that the threat is now coming toward her, and she's moving that magazine rack to take further cover behind the toilet.
So you believe it was the moving of the magazine rack and the noise that that makes that triggered Oscar to fire?
Yes.
Let's hear it. What happens next?
At that particular point, he stays there at that corridor entrance to the bathroom for several seconds, shouting, crying for Riva to call the police, get help, call the police, and he hears nothing. He climbs backwards across the bed, patting the bed to see if Riva's there. She's not there.
If you're right, that's the moment that he realises that Riva's not in the bedroom.
That is the moment he realizes.
Pistorius says he got off the bed and on his stumps rushed back to the bathroom.
I went to the bathroom quite quickly.
And now he's really panicked. So he turns the light on, he realizes the door is locked and the key must be on the inside. So he goes out to the balcony.
So, stop for a moment. Neighbours say they heard a woman screaming.
Yes.
Is that what you believe they heard?
I believe it is what they heard.
They heard Oscar screaming.
Yeah,
Help.
absolutely. I mean, and that's a natural thing, you know. I mean, when you're screaming at an intruder, you know, you're going to use the deepest, most angry, most threatening voice that you can. But then he realized, oh my God, it's Riva. And so now he's panicked. And at that point, you know, when you're panicked, you scream and you scream and you scream. And, I believe that that is what the neighbors heard.
Pistorius says he picked up a cricket bat and then returned to the bathroom to break the toilet door down.
A number of witnesses, in fact as many as 4, claim that they heard arguing and shouting and screaming before the gunshots. There was a pause and then they hear more gunshots.
Well,
it's really crucial.
Yeah, absolutely, that's crucial. That second set of gunshots, I believe, was the sound of the cricket bat breaking down the door. Now, I did a test on that. I hit it with a cricket bat type instrument in an attempt to replicate that sound. And then I used that same door and the same model gun with the same type of ammunition that Oscar used, and I shot through that door. And I compared those audio sounds, and this is what I got.
That's a bat.
That's the bat. And from a distance of 20 meters, 40 meters, 100 meters, 300 meters, some witnesses were, 500 meters, some witnesses were, the differentiation between those two sounds is going to be very difficult to determine.
So you believe the witnesses who say that they heard gunshots after screaming?
That was really the cricket bat.
I unlocked the door and I flung the door open, I threw it open, and I sat over Riva and I cried. And I don't know how long I don't know how long I was there for.
Oscar was using expanding bullets, really quite dangerous bullets that expand on contact with human
hollow
flesh.
tip.
Riva suffered a terrible head wound,
Yes.
which probably killed her.
Yes.
After smashing down the toilet door with a cricket bat, Oscar Pistorius says he found Riva Steenkamp slumped over the toilet, bleeding to death. The crime scene photos and crime scene animation are graphic. They are also important because, according to forensic specialist Scott Roeder, they are consistent with Pistorius's account. In his animations, Roeder matched everything Pistorius said with the physical evidence, evidence that was presented to court.